Well, Kevin, before we ask you how many passes your tight ends are going to catch this year, just wondering your thoughts on the defense. What do you think about it so far?
Again, really competitive. Got a lot of depth. A lot of good guys coming back, playing a lot of numbers. I think they're still growing within their package, but throwing a lot. Look like they're handling it, and so it's been very, very competitive, very physical in practice. And I think, quite honestly, you're kind of going against them against us, but I kind of feel like the leadership and the culture that was kind of built through the summer of Coach Mick and the way we cross-pollinated the team, it's not like we're fighting against each other. We're just competing like heck to get better. And sometimes you got me, and next play maybe I'm getting you. So there's been a lot of back and forth. It's been as competitive, tough, consistent, back and forth banter as kind of like maybe that first year we had some of those guys up front kind of getting at it. It's been really good. It's been fun. It's been challenging.
What can you share, if anything, about scrimmage? How to go? And
we snapped the ball and blocked sometimes, missed, and they made some tackles. And we scored once or twice. Had a field goal hit the upright one time, I think. It was good. It was good. Again, I thought as some drives, sometimes in practice we rotate in maybe racks or threes or four, and I think we had some drives on both, especially offensively, where we got to maybe play 7 or 8, and maybe didn't execute or play with the pad level or the execution as you got into a third down or scores on a situation. So today in practice, we extended, instead of just 4 plays and you're out, let's go 8 or 9 or 10 plays in a row, just to kind of get some of that as the drive goes on both sides of the ball, how to hang in there, how to communicate, how to compete. So thought it was good, but got a little sloppy as drives went, sloppy in. A few turnovers, defense created several good turnovers, which was good for them, not good for us. Got to run it better. Wasn't our best running day. We need to run a little bit better as we go.
And everyone assumes this offense is going to pick up last year's great offense. It doesn't work that way. What do you think is the state of the offense right now? What are your concerns, if any?
What you just said. Assume. Because I was taught what that meant a long time ago, as you divided into some letters. And if we again get a little too big for your britches in this day and age, in my time in my life, it seemed like every time that I or our group got a little too big for its britches, we got it. I had a saying a long time ago, started, as soon as you think you got it, you're getting ready to get it. And it's always a fight to stay on point, to stay focused, to keep evolving, to sharpen your skills. As good as you may be, we all have deficiencies. So we've been really hard. I think our players have picked up some of the ownership and leadership of what we're trying to do, and it's not coming from the coach all the time. So, we're trying to stay humble and grounded because you're only as good as we can block it, and those supporting guys can make it look good. So, and blocking is everyone. You got tight ends and receivers involved with the running game, whether it be in a run play where they're blocking someone, or RPO. You got quarterbacks making decisions. So when that run game's going, it's 11. In the pass game, you got to pick up blitzes and firm up pockets, and CJ can deliver. We got some great guys who can get open, but it's a total team deal. So right now when you start back over, because you go through the winter workouts individually, a little bit of spring, summer's back to a lot of group and individual. Now is where the offense comes together. And to be a great offense, you come together. To be a great offense, at the end of the year, you show what you've done, and it's not stats. There's big rings and there's big trophies that great offenses have. Statistical offenses can have those numbers, which show that statistically you didn't win the games you needed to win. So it's about winning those games. So if we're going to be a great offense, we'll find a way to take care of the ball, take care of the quarterback, get in the end zone, and win games all of it. That's what great offenses do.
Kevin, was there anything on Saturday that you felt was a surprise?
Some of the guys, I know we minimized a little work for some of the top guys. It was good to see, we got a little bit more work there for Julian, Mecca, Marvin. You're expecting them. They still have been the second guys now that won, so they got a little bit more action. Maybe Jackson, who's kind of proven himself. Same at running back. Dowling popped a couple really good runs, which is good to see. Showed some really good speed. Had a couple big ones, which was nice for him. He's got, he's learning. Freshman, a little bit overwhelmed, but he's got some speed and explosive. So that was a nice deal. But scrimmage 1, practice 1, we're just a little inconsistent as an offense. And just got to be better there.
When we were here on Thursday, we saw Cade a little bit more involved down the field. And at the risk of talking too much about tight end targets to me, What is it about his skill set that might allow you to do that a little bit?
We're running the same plays. To me, it's like, you command the ball. So if you get open, when you show in practice, you get open, then coach is going to put you number 1 or number 2 in the progression. Years ago, I remember Sean Payton telling me he was at the Giants, and I think he said when he had Monte Toomer was 1, and Shockey was 2, and Tiki Barber was 3. He goes, I can be in 22 personnel. If those guys are in the progression 1, 2, and 3, something good's going to happen. So does the tight end play well enough to merit being 1 or 2 in the possession, or is he 4 or 5? Because typically in college protections break down, you're not getting to the 4th and 5th guy a lot. So one, it's just how you practice, and of course he's got good ball skills, good basketball player. Again, he's made some plays now. Quite honestly, he needs to be better down the field. But he's also been very good underneath. Had a great play the other day. He ran right through a couple defenders like a bowling ball and smashed them up. He's 257. He's playing really good. He's voted captain, one of the best leaders on our team. Had a championship performance in scrimmage. Very, very physical. He's gonna have a great year. He's pretty good player now. I've seen a couple. He's pretty good now.
How deserving is he for that captaincy? You've been around.
That's the kids because the kids voted on it. But he's here every day, goes hard every day. His body holds up every day. His mind holds up every day. His gas, his give up holds up every day. He's into it now. He cares. He's really good. So I think he's going to play well. I think leadership is best coupled with performance. And I think the way he consistently practices, and I think the way he consistently plays, he's going to perform well. And then verbally in action, he does so many things right that you want a leader to do. So, it's not phony. He got it. It's not trying to build somebody up. He's one of the dudes of our team.
Kevin, from your perspective, who is a player or two that's really come on this preseason that you think is going to be in the mix? From your vantage point, that maybe is a little bit surprising to maybe some folks. Is Evan Pryor fit that note?
But again, you still got with Mayan and Travion, it's like, and then opportunities and touches. Same thing. I think Cade's going to have a chance to get the ball, but you still got Jackson sitting out there that's going to get open, and Marvin's got his own way to show he's going to be a solid. And Mecca's probably been as pleasing and consistent as any of those guys, practicing hard and making some just really strong, impressive plays with and without the ball. So you got Julian, so it's just a lot of guys. So bottom line, it's just the guys that just. We're at a point right now of camp where you don't practice, but you continue right now to build your culture and really get good at something. Just don't show them having practice and say it's 2-a-days and it's hard. Yeah. Everybody's in 2-a-days or preseason practice and walkthroughs. It's hard. Okay, but who's getting better? Who's honing their craft? Who's building the culture of the offense and what you're trying to be? And to me, we got a lot of good players. I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of surprises because you guys know all the guys that are good. There's a lot of second-year guys that are starting to fringe on being what you think they should be. And it'll be interesting as they practice here the next 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Do they become that consistent player that you expect and that we need and we're looking for as coaches and as a team?
More of the quickie. Who's a deep
question for you? Go ahead.
No, you mentioned the run game could have been better on Saturday, but who is a guy on that defensive front that's caught your eye?
About 12 of them.
12 of them. Can you name?
I always laugh when Mike Hall goes out there as a 3. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's as good a 3 as I ever saw in my life. He ain't no 3.
Yeah.
We got some, they're deep, and they just keep coming at you waves, and it's just, they just keep coming over the walls, and it's just, they're playing with some confidence and playing behind their pads, and it's really, in my first year here, you just felt like Taekwon and Sam and Chase, and you just felt those guys. And I don't know if there's anyone individually that's collectively as good as a couple of those superstars, but you just feel the defensive presence. And I think Tommy and Steele and Cody are starting to play a lot of confidence. Now, I think the secondary guys are starting to understand those fits, and they're so much more quicker in the hole. And I just think you feel a very early, confident defensive bunch. It's a long way to go. I'm sure the coach would tell you that, but man, it's just, it's out there. It's a daggone fist fight.
Kevin, you've been a head coach before. I'm sure you can be a head coach again, but you're at Ohio State, offensive coordinator and tight ends coach. making good money, making over $1 million. Your son's on the team. That's got to be fun. I'm just curious. Are you content, dude? Let's say this was your job till as long as you wanted to do it. Is this?
No, matter of fact, I mean, like I've never been a guy wherever it was looking for the next job. It was do your job, do the job the best you could. I had a guy, of course, I think I was like, I don't think working long makes you a better guy, but I enjoyed practice. You know, I enjoy the meetings. I enjoy the preparation. Like the other day, I think someone was talking about, you know, the problem. I enjoy, like, I think it was Coach Saban had a guest speaker to me. I mean, I enjoy preseason practice. I like inside drill. I like Tuesdays. I like Wednesdays. And somebody said, hey, when are you going to retire? And I said, I'm going to retire the first day I'm working. Because the first day this is work. I ain't working. I'm coming out having fun, teaching kids how to play the game, helping kids grow. Love to be a head coach again, but I'm not fighting to do it. I'm fighting to do the best job I can here because we're working to get on that wall. And so whatever we need to do to get on that wall. And I've had a chance with a lot of great offenses and great teams. I played in that 5 times I've been in that game. I'm still looking for that ring. 5 times. 6 if you count the playoff game we lost a couple years ago. So I've been there knocking on that door. I want to help a group of kids I think that's good enough to knock the damn thing down. And we ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. There's a group of guys, the way this team's coming, that can be that type of team. And that's not hopeful talk, and that's not Buckeye tradition talk. That's looking at grown kids playing the game right, and you're trying to impact their guys. So I just trust the good Lord. Are you where you're supposed to be? Coaching the kids you're supposed to coach. Family's kind of almost raised. Usually is where you're raising your kids. I got my son on the team. That's neat. It's cool. I really didn't want him to come here. I wanted him to do what's best for him. That's been good for him. But right now, my thing is to do everything I can to give Coach Day what he wants, help this offense and these kids have a chance to chase greatness because we had a chance to go for it.
Yeah, but where is Joe Royer right now in being the number 2 tight end that you guys?
Yeah, I think right now, like the 2 best guys we got, different roles and jobs, is where Cade and Mitch Rossi are. They're our 2 most consistent, strongest guys. Then you got G and Joe figuring out that next niche and how good are you without the ball and blocking, and what's the blocking matchups, and then what's the route running. And you know they've been there's a little that you see it, and then a little inconsistency as they're growing. So I think both those guys are kind of jabbing back and forth, and then behind that you go Sam and Bennett. Sam's starting to come on, which is encouraging. I really like Bennett, but the first 2 right now I think we got getting close to game ready. Cade and Mitch. We got to see how much we can get out of Joe and G as we start game 1, game 3, game 5 as we move where those guys get to.
The Mitch has previously kind of been really in that fullback position. Do you see him as someone who can be a second tight end, both in line or split out?
But you got to play to certain skill sets or traits. Not that he does certain things all the time. Who's the matchup? Where is he in the formula, the equation? Where do you piece him out? All that deal. So he with special teams and what we'll do. And Mitch is much more valuable than I think people realize. He is a solid component of what we do. I mean, we've got with those receivers maybe 11, 12, 13, 14 other. He's one of our 14, 15 best players on offense. He finds a way to get. He'll be on the field to some degree, and we'll have a decent spot.
Is there something Cade is doing in camp more consistently than he was when he switched to spring?
I think the more he's played, I think he's running his routes faster. We're talking about route running a minute ago, where he's covering more ground. I mean, not playing, just running with stride and not taking little choppy steps and running up on people, running by people, strong enough to work edges and run through people. In the block game, we're getting him slow. He had a couple great ones today, from being a I want to muscle you blocker to, by the way, I can run. Let's bring that momentum and feet and really roll off the ball and really get the push and the movement you want him. He's 256, 57, 58 pounds. He plays. You look at our GPS, he'll be the fastest tight end on the field a lot of days and the biggest. So you put that combination together. Maybe he's going to get open. I think he can play physical with the ball. He's on track to have a really strong year. He's going to be an impressive player.
Kevin, what does the GPS show when you say the GPS?
Just they show how many yards. Like typically, like last year, we'd have like in a practice a year ago on a Tuesday hard practice, you'd have Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson would push around 6,600 to 7,100 yards. Ruck would be at about 58, 59 third highs. And then you look at your speed. Are you going 11 miles an hour or 17 miles an hour or 19 miles an hour? And then you even look at the distance zone. So when we track the volume, how fast you're running and how much you're running at a high clip, he's running at a high clip. So just You know, and that's when you're doing teamwork. It's one thing to go out there with Coach Mix running on bags, and the guy has it and it says you're on 20 miles an hour. Okay, put people out there, and now you're thinking. And also there's a thing called confidence and courage. As there's people in the way, now run 20 miles an hour. And there's another dude standing right there too. Oh no, I start hesitating, I'm waiting. And so he's playing fast. He's a very mature guy. And not that he's just gonna blow by you and you guys say, well, look, he's running 4.5. No, he's just playing fast, playing fit. He's a big athlete. That's why you guys thought he should play defense. He's a big athlete. I don't know.
Kevin, when you think about this,
they'll get 17, 18 on the pad today, which is pretty good for those guys.
when you guys have a 3rd and 1 against Notre Dame that you need to pick up, what do you think of the ability of this offense right now in that situation to get it?
Not what it needs to be, based on what I saw Saturday. Because they need to be better Saturday in structure, what we're calling scheming, and that pad level, and execution, and demeanor, and attitude. So, we had that was a couple glitches Saturday that needed to be. And sometimes maybe just say the structure that wasn't. I put us maybe not in a good play call. Maybe sometimes somebody just got his tail kicked on that play. Like for example, when we're sitting here, like we do all, you guys see us in warm-ups out here, we do this blocking drill starting the first period. When it's 3rd and 1, you're playing as high as this table. When I'm out there in the drill, it's like we're blocking like this. 3rd and 1, it's about that high, and there's a bunch of violence going on. So it's a different pad level. It's the same play, but now you're on the goal line. It's some type of power or zone or whatever. We all kind of run the same variations of the same plays that are north-south plays. Maybe you have a little trick them trying to get it outside once in a while, but how are you going north and south? Well, it's also, there's a scheme involved, but there's a demeanor of when the referee comes out. I did to my guys, the referee comes out and says, we got this much. Okay, how's that D-line playing that play? Versus 3rd and 15. How's that D-line playing? You're on the 1-yard line coming out, they're trying to get a safety. How are they playing? So it's not just the plays as we practice, but you get in situations. So the other day in that situation, play call can be better, execution can be better, but also the demeanor of what we're trying to get accomplished here. Man, this is tough. 4-minute offense. To win those championships, we'll have to close out some games, and everybody knows we're running it. Now, I know Coach will have a safe pass or something to keep them honest, but we got to run and get the first down. And that's what those great offenses that we talked about earlier are going to do or not do. That's what we'll see if we're a good offense or not.
When you have Travion and Mayan or different styles of backs, maybe could you go with a guy like Mayan in those situations who's maybe a little lower to the ground or whatever? Or do you want, if Travion's your starter, do you want your starting running back on the field on 3rd and 1?
Yeah, I think that's not been discussed verbatim as much as I think we kind of trust them both just running the offense. Yep. And whoever's there right now practice, we're just kind of right versus we're catering, hey, this for you because of a pass play and protection or a specific run. We're counting on, we think those two guys are really good with Evan and Dallin with them. So right now they're, if we question or want a little bit more load in the backfield, you would go with Mayan. But we right now we do know Travion's a good runner, so we're not trying to be good to him. I just think we just think
it's just more they both can do it all. It's not situational. It's just you're going to play both
as of now.
As of now, okay.
And that could change as we continue to look at what we are or are not, or he is or is not. Right now, we wouldn't say no. You're the short yardage back. Okay. That has never been said.
When you talked about the tight ends who are the most ready right now, if you're trying to do that, is that Cade and Mitch in the game in a situation like that? If you're going with 2 tight ends on 3rd and 1,
that would have a chance to be our guys right now.
And
or in potentially in time, like we did last year, maybe it's a big old lineman.
Right. How
or
much?
We keep bringing Joe, G, Bennett, and see where those guys get to with Sam. But right now, we're in a spread set, and if we're going to our bigger guys, it's those 2 guys right now.
And how are they in those situations, Cade and Mitch?
They're 2 of our best, and they're as good as we've been. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, I got a lot of confidence in those guys, and they have a lot of confidence in themselves. They're good.
If you don't mind, just talking about C.J. Stroud, I'm not sure if you touched on him at all, but being named the captain now, and this year, now that he knows he is going to be the starter, how do you see him maybe approach it differently in preseason now that he knows, kind of?
I think in the offseason, not just preseason, I think, he wanted to not just have a personal really good year, but wanted to be a championship quarterback. Wanted to play for it all. And I know there's some individual stat things he's up for always that sounds good, but I think he's gotten more into the team element. I think he tried really, really hard to be a great team player in the offseason. Now he's been captain or voted that way. I think that exponentially grows. But I think he was like that back in spring. I think he knew he was the quarterback. I think he knew he had a chance to play well. I think he knew he had a great supporting cast. I think he knew Coach Day was going to doctor it up and that passing game was going to work. But I think he knew no matter what happened last year, it still wasn't the championship that all great quarterbacks want. I think he's done everything he can prior to even being named captain to be a team leader and be a little bit more vocal with telling guys that wasn't good enough and doing it where it's not going to be. He's been probably more outspoken than any player in the last couple of years, just encouraging or also demanding that he expects someone to do better. It's been great to see.
Even at media days, I noticed just his confidence and the difference from this year to last year. How have you maybe noticed that, his confidence or his leadership, those intangibles maybe, because you see it on the field, those intangibles?
Yeah, I mean, this time last year, you've yet to really play, and you don't know. So I know he's trying to figure him out and all that, but as he come through having a great year, I mean, he's past that. So I think now he's well into working on his weaknesses and strengths as a player, but also becoming, like you say, the great quarterback is the guy that's leading everyone. Just kind of comes, and you don't have to say a lot. Maybe it's just with the way you're preparing, the way you're working, the way you're taking care of the body, the way you're living your life outside the building, because everybody knows what he's doing. The team knows. So whether it be verbally, things he's saying, or just the way he's carrying and leading his life, he's a talented player. He's a great kid. He's a hell of a good leader for us. I think Stover, I think Tommy Eichenberg is. That leadership of those 6 captains those are strong players. Those are great men.
Kevin, I know you guys have you're balanced. You want to throw it and run it. But this passing game is so prolific, right? We know that. There's such skill here. Does it ever, I don't know if the word difficult is right, but when reinforcing, we've got to run it on 3rd and 1. We've got to be able to get it when they know we're going to run it. Is that any more of a challenge in a world where you're so good at throwing it, but then you've got to remind everybody, we've got to buckle down and get this when we need it in the run game?
Yeah, I think most people sometimes have to run it because they can't throw. Some people throw it a lot, don't want to run it. The great teams in college football get to where they can do both. And I think because we're just talking CJ a minute ago, I think he knows he's playing good enough. He don't have to prove he can throw and make shots. That to be the team we need to be able to make those tough plays and those physical plays, whether it be 4-minute, coming out, goal line, and whether it be run or heavy play action, whatever it is. But we cannot be a team that can only play with the right hand. To be the team we want to be, we got to play with both hands. And that means we're committed to running the ball. And running the football is scheme. Running the football is fundamentals. But running the football is a mindset. And as well as we throw the football, which we all know has a chance to be extremely good because of Coach Day, the skill, the quarterback, yes, it's got a chance to be really good. But to be the great team, we're trying our darndest to sell our offense on the attitude of balance is greatness. And balance is not 50-50, but you can get behind your pads and get a 3rd and 1. So that means you have to practice that way. You can't practice just passing all the time and all of a sudden expect to get 3rd and 1. Hey, just play lower now. No, you have to practice. Like I said the other day, those plays are about as high as this table. And you have to learn in this world, we say stay off the ground, now to get down low and knock somebody back to get a tough yard, to get a 4th and 1, to get a 4-minute offensive deal. And that's a mindset. And championship teams have the great mindset. So it's tough because as good as our skill. I think, though, our skill's good enough now, and it was so good last year, knows it doesn't matter if we don't have that balance. And I think there's a little bit of humbleness. Their skill knows, yeah, we can rely on that one. We can rely on that three-point shot over and over and over. But if we can't play defense, can't rebound basketball, if we can't play offensive running football, we're not going to be the championship team that we're yearning to be and expected to be.
Great.
And I think that's why we're working that way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.